everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Thriving Immigrant podcast. I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to host you again on this particular episode. And I want to say a big thank you to you for listening, for tuning in, subscribing, and sharing this podcast. Today is a very special day because I have an amazing guest on the show. My guest is an immigrant. He moved to Canada over 10 years ago and is currently building something remarkable in the real estate space. As an immigrant myself, whenever I come across people building something in the real estate space, it gives me joy because I understand that for every new immigrant that comes into this country, they need accommodation, they need a place to stay. My guest is Jonathan Faerman. He's a visionary leader who founded Investium, and Investium is solving a unique problem in the real estate space. So join me in welcoming Jonathan to the Thriving Immigrant podcast. Welcome, Jonathan, and thank you for coming.
Hi, Paul. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here. So thank you very much. So I created Investium. I immigrated to Canada 12 years ago from Argentina. So it was an interesting experience. I think an immigration experience is challenging. I think everyone that has done that can attest that it's a challenging process, leaving everything behind and starting anew. Especially if you do it by yourself, which was kind of my case. But it's also very enriching one because it removes you from your like comfort zones and pushes you to do more. So in that sense was a challenging but enriching experience at the same time.
All right, thank you for sharing that. So just a little bit about yourself. You moved to Canada 12 years ago, and did you move as a permanent resident or as an international student?
So I moved as a permanent resident. So when I moved, I had my PR already. So I moved with the idea of start working right away. To get kind of like immersed and take off from there.
Right. Okay. So you've been in Quebec since you moved to Canada. And why did you choose Quebec from Argentina?
Yeah, so at the time when I moved here, my father was living here already. So I came here to visit him a number of times. I live in Montreal. My father was living in Montreal at the time. And after visiting him a number of times, I said, okay, I'll try it out. So I did my papers. Took me, I think, a year and a half, 2 years to get all the paperwork done. And I came to Montreal initially because of that.
Great. Okay. So you speak French, right?
I do. I do. I didn't speak French when I arrived. I thought that with English it was going to be okay, but my first job was actually in French,
Great.
so I had to learn like the rough way.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's interesting. This is the first time I'm finding someone from Argentina in in Canada, and I'm just remembering Lionel Messi of Argentina. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. So I believe you have a story behind you finding Investium. Of course, you're an immigrant, you must have seen how the real estate space has been in the last 12 years that you moved into Canada. So can you tell us the inspiration behind starting Investium? Like what motivated you to start Investium?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I think um, the idea behind it was really to help people that because it started kind of like as a personal need, but then I realized that a lot of people they have the same challenge. So initially what happened is I was lucky enough to be able to buy a condo in downtown Montreal many years ago. So I bought a condo, I lived there many years, and then I grew a family and I needed a bigger space because it was a small condo. So I bought a house in the suburbs of Montreal, in the West Island of Montreal. I bought a house, but I kept my condo and I rented it out. Rented it out for a bit less than 2 years. Then I sold it and I was ready to buy something bigger. I wanted to buy something bigger, like a multifamily property, like a duplex, a triplex, something like that. But since I had a newborn, and I was living far. I didn't do it. I didn't want to do it by myself. I didn't have that much experience or capital or time or skills or anything really. So, but I wanted to do I wanted to do it. So I said, okay, well, perhaps the best thing I can do is partner with someone and we buy something together. That way, we will be able to buy something bigger between both of us, more profitable, and we'll be able to do it. And I couldn't find someone to invest together. I didn't want to do it with friends or family, and I realized that there was not really a place to meet people like this. And I had met my wife online, so I said, okay, like meeting people online actually works. So I said, okay, if you can meet someone online to like as a partner, as a life partner, why not as a business partner? And that's how the idea of Investium came to be, as a place where people they meet to invest together in real estate. Um, and it took a couple of years to build, and now it's been live for about a year. It's a site that is completely free to use, completely free for anyone. Takes no time to create an account because I really wanted to lower the barriers of entry to the real estate space.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So I love what you said. Like if you could find a wife online, why not find a business partner online? Yeah, that's interesting. Right. So just to like be sure of what you're talking about, so you're saying Investium is like a platform where people who are interested in investing in real estate log into, meet themselves, and take it up from there. Is that it?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's like a dating site, but for real estate investors. As I mentioned, it's free to use, free to create an account. So when you create an account, the first thing you need to do is answer a couple of questions regarding your investment preferences. That will The site will use that to match you with other investors, and at the same time, you can search people, and you will find them based on these characteristics. Once you find someone you would like to speak with, obviously you engage in that conversation, send a message, for example. And one of the best features of the platform that makes it very unique is you can create private investment groups. So these groups are confidential or closed. So whenever you create one, everything that happens inside it cannot be seen by people outside. So you can chat with others in a secure space. So you can, once you create an investment group, let's say you want to invest in a triplex somewhere, you already saw the property or have that idea, you can create this group and you can invite others to your group. Other people can request access and apply to access to this group. So once you have the number of people that you want to in one of these groups, then you can chat in there, you can share files, you can assign tasks, share links. You really have a lot of tools to collaborate online, so you can collaborate with them and then take it offline to start perfect, for example, prospecting, visiting properties to then buy.
Oh, great. That sounds good. I love you talking about confidential groups, and that makes sense. I have another question. So
Good.
when you mentioned that it's open for everyone, is there like a minimum requirement, like maybe age 18, working class, or
No,
Eh, eh,
absolutely. There is no requirement at all
okay.
to join. I think, and this is on purpose. Uh, I want to give the possibility to everyone to reduce the barriers of entry for everyone, because I don't think there is a specific requirement other than wanting to do it. You may have some more money in the bank or less money in the bank, but I'm sure you will be able to find someone else that can use your time or your money or your skills, your knowledge, and you can complement others. So
Right.
there's no minimum requirement.
Okay, so that makes sense. So on your platform, do people have access to like maybe mortgage advisors, realtors, or the only thing they do is just to collaborate and get the funds together and
That's
take it
an
up from
excellent question. That's an excellent question. That's something, a feature we just added. I just added in the platform. Actually, one of the main things of investing in real estate is that you need a team to support you.
right.
You cannot do it by yourself. You need a real estate, like you mentioned, you need a real estate agent. You will need a mortgage specialist. If you don't know much about real estate, you may want someone to guide you and coach you. So you need a lot of people to support you. You will need lawyers, but you need insurance, a lot of things. So in the platform, we have this. So you click a button and you have a pre-selected list of people that are there to help you. You have directly their name and phone number and email. So the idea is not to fill a form to then wait for a week and someone will call you. No, no, no. So you click a button, you see the people there, they're waiting for your call, for your contact, so you can contact them directly.
Oh, nice. I think I just shared an idea with you. So I don't know if you've been thinking about that before, but I hope when you start making money from that, you're gonna give me some money. Okay, so that's just a joke. But I love what you're building, and I think the future is bright for Investium. So now you've been in this space for quite a while. What were your biggest challenges when you were starting out the business?
So I think each step has different challenges, right? So at the beginning, the first challenge is, okay, I need to refine the idea. The next challenge is, okay, I need to find investors to for the idea if you don't have all the money for it. Then the next challenge is to build a product, how you do it. In this case, for Investium, I hired a local agency in Montreal, and I worked with them, and they built Investium for me. So building the platform. Then the next challenge is selling your product. In this case, it's free, but you still need to sell it. People they need to go into the platform. They need to create an account. They need to log in. So they still need to buy, quote unquote, your product. So that's the next challenge. So to be honest, and each step, I thought that step was the most challenging one. Now I'm at the step of scaling it and getting more users. I already have a nice user base that is expanding, but obviously we need more to make this worthwhile. And at this point, this is, I think, the most challenging. So I would say the most challenging part is, I think, it's always the selling aspect. The rest, I think it's easier to solve.
Wow, that's interesting, right? So, and I think you mentioning that it's free, but of course you still have to sell. That's where awareness comes in. Like you are doing something very amazing that I feel like a lot of people would like to tap into, but they just need to be aware that this opportunity is there. So I agree with you, but I think you're doing well and the future is bright. So thank you for sharing that. So I have another question, and this is because you are an entrepreneur. You've been here for a while. I understand you, or maybe you probably have a 9 to 5. How do you manage work-life balance? And you are a
Well, I think you need to
family
be,
man too.
yeah, I think you need to be really, first, you need to be very structured, like be understand what are your priorities, and you will need to, I think, with your priorities you want to stop doing certain activities, right? Like, for example, I used to like watching more TV or watching movies or even play video games. Well, I pretty much don't do any of those anymore, right? Because I decided that my time would be better spent first with my family, and then with this business that I'm building. So those are conscious decisions that you need to make, and you need to be very structured, um, and have your priorities and your list of to-dos so you can follow up.
Awesome. I think I can relate with what you're saying. Like as we grow, our priorities change as we grow. And as a family man, maybe before now, you were going to hang out with your friends, play video games, but now you need to make money. At the same time, you want to be there for your kids.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I love what you said about being structured. So it's important. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to ask you one interesting one because I moved to Canada about 5 years ago. And in the last 5 years, I've learned a lot about Canada and maybe things I would do differently. For you, moving like 12 years ago, looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in your immigration journey? Maybe that would have made it easier for you to integrate into the system and your entrepreneurial journey as well. Is there something that you would have done differently, knowing all that you know now?
Yeah, I think couple of things. A couple of things. First, when I moved here, I didn't speak very well French, so that definitely will have helped me more to know more like the language. Sounds basic, but that one for sure. And learning about some specific things of how things work here, like accounting or law, how they work here, that they're obviously very different from Argentina, because that way you can start thinking in a way that uh, is useful for what you're doing here, right? Because if you come with your mentality of things from Argentina or wherever your home country is, um, then it may not work here. So I think you need to kind of like adapt and learn the ways of the land, right? So that will have, I think it will have helped.
Wow. Right. So I'm lucky you for moving to Montreal because now you speak multiple languages. You speak English, you speak French, and what do we call the,
Spanish?
is it Spanish?
Yeah, yeah, Spanish.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So you speak, interesting. So you're multilingual, which is good. And I think there is a strong Spanish community in Canada as well. Right. Okay. Nice. Right. So I'm moving to the to maybe my last question. And for Investium, where do you see Investium in the next 5 years? Like, what's the future goal for Investium as an organization?
Yeah, so there are two things. On one end, I want to scale it so more and more people use it. The more people use it, it's more valuable for everyone. We can think of big social media sites. They are very powerful and very useful because a lot of people use it. So that's something I want to do. And on the other side, to provide more value and more services for users. For example, so we added this team of professionals to help you, but I want to do other things like bring closer specific deals or properties that people may find useful, add more professionals, make the platform better and more user friendly. So there are a lot of things that I would like to add and improve.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. I think I'm almost done with my questions. It's been fun having you. I love what you are building. Um, I always ask my guests this question. What is the most powerful piece of advice that you've ever received?
Uh, I think it's I think the most powerful piece of advice would be like don't be afraid of speaking up. Don't be afraid of speaking up or making mistakes or be the leader into something. People like leaders. So that's that would be it. That would be it. So don't stay quiet in a space. Just don't be afraid of speaking up or doing the first step and moving. The rest will follow. People they like leaders, and people typically follow others that they take the first step. So that would be it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. So if someone wants to, maybe somebody is interested and wants to reach out to you, how can they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my email it's Jonathan at investium.ai. So the website is www.investium.ai. And there I'm there. I typically speak with all the users, to be honest. So you can go to me on my email or on the platform or even on LinkedIn with my name. I'm always happy to meet new people. I chat, I meet them. Always happy to do that.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Are you on maybe Instagram, Twitter, or just LinkedIn for now?
I prefer LinkedIn.
Okay.
I prefer LinkedIn. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Jonathan, for building something very amazing. I'm excited about what you're building, and I know that you will do well. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being a Thriving Immigrant podcast. I would like to host you again, maybe when you've scaled. Like I know you keep scaling, so maybe in the next 1 year or next 2 years, you have a better story, and we can bring you again on the Thriving Immigrant podcast.
That
But
would be
thank
great.
you for
Yeah.
what you are doing, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's been a pleasure.
All right.